can be towering. They can be tiny. Ferocious or friendly. They trot, they hop, they bound, they flap. They're everywhere on Earth. And even beyond. It's a big family, numbering more than 4,000 species, one of whose members is us. We are all mammals. We have a lot in common with our fellow mammals. Native American stories make much of the bond between humans and their furred cousins. They tell of mythical ancestors who could assume either shape. All mammals, no matter what shape they end up as, begin life's journey as a tiny fertilized egg in their mother's womb. They all look pretty much the same at this point. They're all mammals, but who can say which of these will become which of these? What makes this mixed bunch a family? What makes an animal a mammal? There isn't one single thing, but mammals share certain characteristics. They tend to be furry, and they're all warm-blooded, which means they can adjust to extremes of climate. But what really sets them apart is that mammals feed their infants on milk, customized nutrition produced by a special gland, the mammary gland, from which the mammals get their name. Most mammals grow within their mother's bodies, rather than an egg. Vulnerable as newborn mammals always are, their mother's milk quickly puts a spring in their step. You can always tell a mammal by its skull. Unlike other vertebrates, mammals have a single lower jawbone. The first mammals were small, shrew-like creatures. They lived in the shadow of the dinosaurs and even stole their eggs. The tiny creatures thrived. Flexibility is the mammal's middle name, unlike the doomed Tyrannosaurus Rex and his brothers. The mammals were survivors. They investigated just about every evolutionary turning, with some extraordinary results. Our cave-dwelling ancestors certainly had some exotic company. The huge giraffid, and the giant sloth as tall as 2 men. The Untotherium was an early rhinoceros, and the woolly mammoth was just one of a family of 350 trunked animals whose vast appetite and slow breeding cycle didn't serve them well. The only survivors of this evolutionary avenue are the African and Asian elephants. The developing mammals soon show their differences. The first offspring to appear are the mice. They have raced from conception to birth in only 3 weeks. Newborn mice aren't quite ready for the outside world, but soon they've acquired the mammal's most obvious asset, an all-weather fur coat. The sheer speed of their breeding cycle makes rodents the most numerous of all mammals. Mammals' fur is indeed their crowning glory. Polar bears have a double layer. In Arctic temperatures, they'll need it. glossy fur hides a secret. Underneath thick white hairs, the polar bear's skin is black. It's a clever device, absorbing the solar energy reflected by the long outer hairs. Fur works by keeping body heat in and cold air out. But you can have too much of a good thing. Come summer, this sheep will welcome a haircut. Though not perhaps the style. We can see the difference. Where he's red, he's hot, and where he's blue, he's not. Humans have always had their eye on the sheep's adaptable coat. In Greek myth, the hero Jason and his Argonauts survived untold dangers in their quest for the magical Golden Fleece. The risks were worth taking. The fleece was said to be capable of bringing the dead back to life. The mammal's coat does more than provide warmth. It can send messages. The skunk's stripes are a warning sign, which no one ignores twice. Its stink bombs can be launched to devastating effect. The porcupine's coat makes a different point. It is fur, but it isn't furry. The Greek philosopher Aristotle thought the porcupine fired its quills at predators. In fact, it just backs into its enemies, but that's usually enough. The hedgehog is another prickly customer. Its dense spines discourage predators and are useful in case of accidents. If a hedgehog falls from a height, it bounces. The hedgehog's spines develop soon after birth. In 11 days, it goes from soft bundle to spiky scrubbing brush and is ready to face the world. Infinitely adaptable, mammals like the Arctic fox use their coats as camouflage. Sometimes a mammal needs a wetsuit. The otter has a good one. Its long surface hairs are waterproof and keep the fur underneath dry. There's only one mammal whose natural coat is insufficient for its needs, the naked ape. So humans have traditionally stolen the coats of other mammals. But it wasn't always easy. Bears aren't called grizzly for nothing. But real-life grizzlies generally prefer smaller fare, fruits, roots, and honey, and they're always ready for a fishing expedition. The exuberant bear has become our most popular symbol of childhood innocence, but then we've always embraced our fellow mammals. Our mice at 6 weeks old are ready to leave the nest. In fact, they'll soon be building their own. Mice are the fast breeders of the mammal world. They'll produce several new generations before their more leisurely neighbors have produced one. The domestic cat isn't far behind, with a pregnancy of only 9 weeks. The litter is smaller than that of the mouse, and at birth the kittens are more developed. They've already got their fur, and very quickly are suckling. Mammal's milk is one of their greatest successes. It's a perfectly balanced liquid meal. These kittens have all they need to grow and flourish. No matter what other characteristics they might have, suckling comes naturally to every mammal. The human taste for milk continues long after breastfeeding finishes. Then we take advantage of other mammals' milk, as cream, butter, yogurt, cheese. But how about a milkshake made from wolf milk? Possibly not. But Romulus and Remus had no reservations. Legend has it that these two abandoned babies were found and suckled by a kindly she-wolf. The experience did them no harm. They went on to found the city of Rome. Perhaps because of their close infant relationships, mammals remain social creatures throughout their lives. The meerkat certainly has a strong community spirit. Meerkats live cooperatively. There are nursemaids, hunters, foragers, and sentries. There's safety in numbers. And mammal numbers can be staggering. As many as 50 million bats were found in one colony in Arizona. Bats like to hang around in groups. The bigger, the better. But other mammals are less keen on company. The average cat lives in a small family of 4 or 5 members, while some mammals have only one offspring. Few infants are closer to their mothers than the wallaby. Marsupials are mammals with a difference. You could say they're born twice. After only 5 weeks in the womb, the tiny wallaby, like the kangaroo, makes an epic journey to the mother's pouch, where it settles in for another 9 months. Only marsupials raise their young in this way. Their name comes from the Latin word for pouch. Marsupials are some of the remarkable mammals known only in Australasia, where they're found clinging, swimming, nesting, and even climbing trees. When Captain Cook's 18th century sailors first sighted Australia, they were astonished with what they saw. It was that powerful hop that caught their eye. Kangaroos travel faster than a racing cyclist, and they can keep going for hours. It's original and it works. The piston action of each hop forces air in and out of the lungs. For stamina, kangaroos lead 4-footed runners in the dust. They take a shot at other sports too. A knockout hopper is unusual enough, but mythical mammals are stranger still. Mermaids reminiscent of manatees. And the centaur, half man, half horse, a legend from the Greek mythology. Chiron was the wisest of these fabled beasts. Jupiter placed him among the stars as the constellation Sagittarius. Some real-life mammals seem a little mixed up, too. The duck-billed platypus has webbed feet and a beak, and it lays eggs. But because it suckles its young, it's still a mammal. And there's a sting in the tail. The male platypus has a powerful poison gland in its hind leg, enough to kill a dog. But perhaps the most remarkable mammal is familiar to all of us. Humans are the most successful of the large mammals. They take things slowly, 9 months in the womb, and that's nothing to how long this complex creature takes to develop and grow to independence. For a year, we can't stand up. And even then, we have to work at it. Other mammals need to find their feet more quickly. For the human child, infancy is about developing mental and physical potential, using the 5 senses to perceive and learn. Sight is our most important sense. We can distinguish more than 1 million shades of color, whereas most mammals see the world in black and white. Some mammals see little of the world at all. A mole rat relies on its snout to feel its way and sniff out food. And a giant anteater also smells its lunch. Termites. Its fast-flicking tongue scoops up 30,000 of them a day. Another specialist, the camel, has adapted to water shortage, as you'd expect from a denizen of the desert. They're super efficient at conserving it and at finding it. They can sense faraway rain clouds and detect a drink more than a day's walk away. Darkest night may not seem an obvious time to go hunting, but a bat can see its prey without using its eyes. Millions of years before humans discovered sonar, bats were using it to catch their dinner. Like someone shouting in a cave or a canyon, a bat gets a measure of its surroundings from the time it takes an echo to return. The bat's call is so highly pitched that human ears don't hear it. At 200 calls a second, accuracy is guaranteed. For a moth, the cloak of darkness is no protection. Bats are the only land animals with such a talent, and they're the only mammals who can truly fly. They make up 1/4 of all mammal species, and new kinds of bats are being discovered even now. Only one other mammal shares the bat's navigational skills, but its environment is very different. After 10 months in the womb, the dolphin is ready to launch into its undersea world. Mammals have a problem underwater. They're not fish, so they need to surface to take a breath. But dolphins are perfectly at home in the sea. In fact, they seem to rejoice in every moment of it. They like to play, another mammal characteristic. Like fish, they swim in schools, often 1,000 or more. Dolphins communicate with a constant chatter of high-pitched squeaks, clicks, and whistles. We can record their language, but we still don't understand it. Our love affair with the dolphin goes back centuries. Greek sailors wove this intelligent mammal into many of their tales, like that of the musician Arion. Faced with certain drowning, he played a lament on his harp. A school of dolphins found him and took pity. They picked him up and carried him to the shore. Mammal communication takes many forms, not always so sophisticated. Rabbits thump their hind legs on the ground when there's danger. Flashing white tails are another warning signal. Tail talk features in the deer world, too. A little less subtle is the gorilla. But all mammals have something to say. The male humpback whale sings to repel other males and to attract a mate, repeating its song for hours at a time. Each song is unique to the singer, and its haunting sound has an appeal that's universal. A whale recording traveled aboard the Voyager space probe as a greeting from Earth. The huge humpback has a voracious appetite, but it feeds on the smallest of sea creatures. It rounds them up by the million, trapping them in a tube of bubbles. As it surfaces, each whale gulps down thousands of pounds of a spiraling plankton soup. These ocean giants have inspired many a tall tale. In the Arabian Nights, a shipload of sailors mistook a whale for an island and landed on its back. They lit fires to keep warm, but the whale, feeling the heat, plunged underwater, drowning them all. Seafaring mammals can find themselves in some very icy water. In these extremes, a fur coat, even a waterproof one, is simply not enough. Fat is a more effective insulator, and seals have plenty of that. Blubber may be useful in the sea, but it's no help at all when trying to get out. Without water to take the weight, it's easier just to stay put. But even the biggest seals must come ashore to breed. The male elephant seal is one of the most promiscuous of mammals. The dominant males mate perhaps 100 times in a season. It's now 22 months since our eggs began their journey. In that time, 10 generations of mice have been born. There are 2 families of cats, and our young friend is nearing her 2nd birthday. And it appears the largest mammals are the slowest at getting from conception to birth. Length of pregnancy is usually related to body size. An elephant calf is 30 times heavier than a human baby. Able to walk within hours, the calf can keep up with the herd after just 2 days. The young elephant carries on suckling for 3 or 4 years, taking milk snacks little and often. Not always easy with an unwieldy trunk to manage. Later, the trunk comes into its own. It's strong and acutely sensitive to smell and touch. Control has to be learnt. It's a frustrating business, and sometimes the young elephant goes back to basics. Unlike other mammals, elephants never stop growing. It's easy to find the oldest animal in a herd. It's the biggest. Elephants can live to be 80 years old, but in the wild, only 1 in 5 reaches its 30s. In Kipling's classic The Jungle Book, the elephant Hathi was upholder of the law. The tiger Shere Khan was the lawbreaker. In Indian legend, tigers were created to teach humans a lesson of humility through fear. Only when people were properly respectful would the gods instruct the tigers to stop killing them. We may not have learned this particular lesson, but there's no doubt about our enduring fascination with the mammal world to which we belong. It's easy to see why mammals are so appealing. We're only a small part of the animal kingdom, but our effect on the world is out of all proportion to our numbers. For sophistication, intelligence, flexibility, and variety, we simply can't be matched.